So we're going to have Metis come up, and they're going to talk about the bounties that they have for this year, and then we'll jump over into the panel.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Woo! A bit louder. Come on. Woo! Yeah. Excitement. I love it. I love it. So I love the energy and excitement, especially this past day or two. We've been here, a lot of engagements, a lot of familiar faces. Definitely, like this is my second year here, and a lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces, and a lot of new builders. And that's exactly why we come here to engage within the Buildler community. And we want to encourage projects to come in and continue to grow and expand the ecosystem into what it can be. A user-friendly experience built for everyone to come in and engage. So with 𝘲𝘐𝘗𝘕, we see ourselves as an ecosystem with the infrastructure layer of the L2, an EVM equivalent smart L2. And that's where you can deploy any type of smart contract application. You can deploy it, anything that you can deploy on Ethereum, you can do the same thing on 𝘲𝘐𝘗𝘕 as well. We also have a credentialing layer, Nuvo. This is where the single sign-on authentication layer, also reputation and soulbound tokens. So we also have a bounty for that. And finally, we have the application and business layer, which is our application, which I'm co-founding and CEO of, which is Koris. And we also have a bounty in partnership with 𝘲𝘐𝘗𝘕. We want to fund innovative startup and ideas within the ecosystem. We want to grow the community, and we want to build definitely very ambitious projects that can hopefully be still confined within reality as well. And so with that, we have a couple of basic requirements in terms of our bounty and our information. So as previously mentioned, our Smart L2 fully EVM equivalent, you can deploy any type of application. And for our requirements, we require we just deploy a smart contract application on there. But you need a little bit more, a little bit juicier. Something that serves a business goal, a business vision, and mission in order to serve the community better. So whether it be a UX improvement, whether it be something that you see that can be used by Web2, whether you can see it being expanded and grown by ecosystem projects, something that takes already existing applications and sort of grows and expands it. In addition, we have the Nuvo bounties, which is the ones that grow more so the reputation and soulbound token track. So how you can see soulbound tokens being used more so in the ecosystem and seeing where the applications would lie. In addition to this, we're also funding projects also outside with our own grants program, our own builder mining program, which allows you to earn additional funds as retroactive funding for increased participation in the network, as well as our DAO attribution campaign, which increases grants for specifically for projects looking to build on top of other DAOs and to grow the DAO ecosystem available to anyone that wants to contribute to a DAO. So that's just a summary of what we're offering in terms of our bounties and in terms of our participation. So I definitely want to see many types of applications, easy to deploy on. Go for it. Submit a presentation, submit an application, and hope to see you there. Thanks, everyone.
Casey's out there. He's welcome to come join us. All right. So you just talked about your bounties. Whoa. We're going to come over here. Look at these fancy couches.
My grandmother had a couch like this, I think.
I'm going to be the weird. Oh,
here's Casey.
Yes, here's Casey. You can sit where you want.
Awesome.
I get my own chair.
You get your own chair.
I feel like Russell.
So one of the things that we're really trying to do this year for Bindling is really getting into use cases and providing examples and ideas on ways and problems that Bindlers can actually solve. So we just kind of heard your presentation around what bounties you guys are actually offering. Are there specific examples that you could give of ideas that you guys are looking to solve within the space?
So we're looking for UX improvements, so applications that make it easier to get into the space, basically easier to go in and improve a lot of the UX and UI tools. So right now, it's difficult to use, for example, like multi-sig, right? there are alternatives. There are definitely a lot of applications that make it like you could see the transaction history potentially, but it's difficult really to get into a lot of the space, especially trying to relearn a lot of these different types of signature schemes, maybe account abstraction, something with that in mind. So anything that deals with usability improvements within this space that makes it easier for people to get onboarded, that makes it easier for people to understand it, not coming from the Web3 background, but instead coming from a Web2 perspective, where your grandma can potentially and other applications, for example, DAO onboarding. So right now it's very difficult to, for example, get information on where to get resources and knowledge management for DAOs. You have to go into a Discord, you have to ask around, you have to and then org charts for DAOs, for example. You don't really know like who's the person in charge. Maybe you could go and you can see like the list of permissions in there, but you might not be able to see like who's the person that you need to contact for example, like HR duties, or who's the person that you need to contact for problems with integrating different applications. Maybe there's a BD role, maybe the person that can better answer your question. So essentially anything that makes it easier for you to get onboarded within the ecosystem, in the DAO ecosystem, the Web3 ecosystem, infrastructure, anything that makes it easier to find knowledge-based management tools and the like, essentially.
Cool. Russell, so you lead BV. How can like UI, UX design help? Like if we take the premise of what Metis is looking to accomplish, and we look at this from like a venture capital, or even like companies that you're looking to invest in, from bidlers that are participating.
Sure. So the thing that we're most interested in at Bufficorn Ventures is bring on the other 99.5% of the population into Web3, and preferably doing it without them knowing. So I don't know how many of you ever used a wallet. I would imagine a lot of you. And if you have iOS, you've been frustrated when you do mobile applications and suddenly you click MetaMask and it opens up the App Store, right? That is something that really put things in. Now I say that because they happen to deploy a change in Wallet Connect that fixes that like yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that. That was amazing. That kind of a UI change, however easy or simple it is a game changer in this industry. Because the way that you succeed is you start onboarding normies into the technology. And really the way that we know we'll have been successful is when developers no longer say I'm a Web3 developer, they just say I'm a developer. Right? You don't hear people saying, "Oh, I'm a database developer now." Well, you do, but they're dorks. They're just developers, or they're architects or some other thing. They're not talking about the specific mini computer that they're designing for, or the architecture that they're writing their machine language code on. And that's really where we want to be. So so those of you that are making tools that make it easy for people to not have to worry about managing their keys and managing their wallet, but can still be safe in a non-custodial way, especially. You look at there's lots of tools out there like Magic and like Taurus that can do those kinds of things. Anything that you can do and you were talking about onboarding, right? And so last year's winner, Tavern Keeper, who have now like renamed themselves to Yerba, they were all about onboarding. You gave like the list that you gave was probably like, if you were to advise them, should be their top 15 list of things to add. Those of you that are out there that want to do that kind of thing, that is really good advice, because you shouldn't be necessarily just thinking about, oh, this is how I join the DAO, this is how I do that, because that's just a one-shot thing. You do it and you're done, right? But if you're talking about how to onboard somebody into HR, or into how to make sure they know how to vote, or all those kinds of things, they'll have to come back and do all the time. They have to be updated all the time. Those are huge, right? These kinds of ways that we can teach and show by example, or choose your own adventure, that is amazing stuff. And when you make an interface that's easy, that's intuitive, then you give people the freedom to find the way that's most effective for them, as opposed to what's the newest way to jump through the different hoops that Microsoft Word just changed after they just changed it the year before, after they just changed it the year before, after they just changed it the year before.
Awesome. Casey, as a kind of an engineer, how can bidlers think about bounties, like to actually make it more? What are like ways to approach it, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, and to add to Russell's point, I think we're definitely in the AOL stage of Web3. I think we all used AOL, at least if you're my age, to get online.
Too old, Case.
And no one's using that now. So we're still in the phase of finding the technology that makes it easy for everyone to use. So when it comes to bounties, obviously there's going to be bounty hunters that are just going to pick the easiest bounties. The bounties that they can just integrate with their platforms, the quickest and the most efficient. But if I was building today, I would make a good 10 list of sponsor bounties so that they could potentially maximize their rewards. So just going through the list and finding the ones that actually fix the problem set that you're working on. Because that's the one that's going to attract from those sponsors, and those are the ones that they're going to reward to. So find a problem that you're fixing, and be good at fixing that problem.
Can I throw something else in there?
Yeah, go.
So I was a judge for the last 2 years. I think I was a guest judge the year before that too, and we had some bounties. It was the Colorado Jam bounties that were out there, and there were a few things that were really frustrating. One was teams that would come and present to us. They didn't tell us what bounty they were actually trying to apply for. And the reason that most of the time they didn't, in a couple of cases, they were really excited. I understand that happens. But in many of the other cases, they actually weren't doing any of our bounties. If that's the case, you could spend more time actually talking to a judge that you've done something for, rather than just presenting to somebody that that you didn't actually address any of the things that they're trying to do. So your time is valuable, and so is the judges. And if you come to them and you make it organized, you say, oh, you asked this question, this is what we did. Oh, you had this bounty, this is how we did it. So these are or you start your presentation. If you have your team, you got your pitch man, right, or your pitch woman. And your pitch person's going to get up there, and they're going to say, "Oh, these are the bounties that we did with this. And by the way, these are some other bounties that we did for other judges, and we're throwing those in there too." So you let them know what problems you're solving. Now they're in the right context and the right state of mind to understand what they're looking at. You do that, you make it crystal clear that you should be winning. In that case, especially if you're doing something that's not super easy, you're probably going to win something, right? You're probably going to win something. So lay it out as easily as you can. And as you're coding, as you're building back there, also lay it out for yourselves. Look, these are the ones we want to go for. We think these are the easiest ones, and we should do these first. Make sure you go down the list and you have your little punch card. Okay, these are the 10 we're going for, and by 10 o'clock at night on Saturday, you've got 6 of them. We're going with those.
So for Metis, how are you guys judging your bounties?
We're looking at a number of factors within the different types of projects that are submitted. Most importantly, we see that an MVP and a product vision is what would guide the team. And we see that a lot of the different types of we see that a lot of types of projects focus on that are successful focus on a specific problem, whether it be a problem that they're fixing with a product or a problem that they're fixing with a service. So we're taking a look at a core and concrete problem, and we definitely want to see more of these types of decentralized autonomous companies shoot out and attempt to fix these difficult onboarding and simplification problems, especially usability, so that we don't have to refer to this time as being the AOL and more like you enter your email and everything just works, and then maybe the iPhone era or something.
Do you have like an example of a existing project today that you're really excited about within like Metis?
So currently, we've been using Nuvo as one of our means of single sign-on and authentication management. So essentially, you're able to log in with your Discord, your email, your wallet connect, your MetaMask, and be provided an ID. It also supports BLS wallets, BLS signatures, which allows for gasless transactions. So essentially a form of account abstraction, which makes it so that you as the user don't have to pay for gas fees, which reduces the onboarding struggle of joining any type of community. So the DAO or whichever type of funding entity can essentially fund a portion of transactions for specifically for user onboarding. So we see that as being like a main method of just simplification, onboarding, easy for Web 2, easy for Web 3 people to come in and just start engaging without needing for them to buy a token or without needing for them to download MetaMask.
Got it. Where could people find you?
Yeah, specifically me, I will be around like the Biddle area, and then I'm also like virtually all the time. I'm on Telegram and Twitter. You can just search for my name, but to do my Telegram handle like Pavel_Sinel. But easier to find me over there.
Got it. So if you're interested in Metis, interested in their bounties, make sure you go check out Biddlebox. Second place is go hang out in the Metis room. Is the ice cream machine working?
We are working on it.
Okay.
And things are heating up now, so now it's and now hopefully people can enjoy a cold refresh after a long day's work.
Is it just like vanilla, or is it like lemon ice, or what is it?
We likely have additional flavors. I have to ask our events team, but it'll be up and running, and definitely consider checking it out if you want a good treat. Sorry?
Ooh,
Will it be
spiked.
spiked?
Well, I know that beer is provided, but maybe BYOB, and we'll see what we can do.
Bring your own beer ice cream. Love it. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Great.